Live from Central Pennsylvania, this is CBS 21 News at 6.
Tonight at 6, we're following two big stories. We're tracking storms headed to the mid-state, but first.
Was anything you did criminal?
Not that I know of.
Former Harrisburg Mayor Stephen Reed proclaims his innocence after being charged with a list of crimes. We're talking close to 500 counts, including theft and bribery. It's our top story at 6. We're glad you're with us. I'm Tanya Foster.
And I'm Rob Hanrahan. Many blame Reed for the financial collapse of the capital city. Tonight, we have live team coverage. Let's start with CBS 21 investigative reporter Matt Rist, who was there as Reed went in front of a judge. He joins us live in Harrisburg. Matt?
Rob, Tanya, a long list of charges, but a very short arraignment. The judge's final words to former Mayor Stephen Reed: good luck to you.
Yes, we'll give a statement later.
From the moment he left his doorstep
Bewildered would be the right word.
to his walk to court, longtime Mayor Stephen Reed, looking worse for the wear, proclaimed his innocence. Was anything you did criminal?
Not that I know of.
The Attorney General's office says the grand jury indictment includes hundreds of counts on 17 different charges, including bribery, theft, and receiving stolen property, actions which left Harrisburg with more than $300 million of debt.
He was arrested for his role as the mastermind in a pattern of corruption that spanned approximately 20 years. This scheme of serial issuance of public debt sent the city of Harrisburg, our Commonwealth's capital, into massive debt.
The investigation centered around two projects: an incinerator for which the city took on millions of dollars of debt for its upkeep, which investigators say Reed funneled to other projects. The second, millions of dollars in artifacts bought with city funds for a Wild Wild West museum which never came to be.
Reed retained possession of a massive collection of city property and began to treat the city's assets as his own. This chain of debt took many years, approximately 20 years, to construct, and almost 2 years to uncover.
The AG's office is still going through items found in Reed's home and warehouse.
A life-size sarcophagus, the suit of armor you see here, for which the city paid perhaps $14,000, a $6,500 vampire hunting kit, a host of other items, many of which were fakes, despite the fact that the people of the city of Harrisburg paid the authentic price, paid top tick. One person in the grand jury testified that when Mayor Reed came to town, the fakes came out and the prices went up.
Kane acknowledged Reed did do some good for the city.
I devoted my life to the city of Harrisburg, and I look forward to waging a vigorous fight against these charges.
Now, also a lot of questions about Reed's health. He said today that he is still battling stage 4 prostate cancer. In the meantime, the Attorney General says they are doing everything they can to speed up this trial, but they have a year before a trial could begin. Live in Harrisburg, Matt Rist, CBS 21 News.
All right, thanks, Matt. Reed was mayor for close to 30 years. I used to cover him back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Right.
He's credited with doing good things for the capital city.
Now CBS 21's Laura Greenberg takes us back, showing us Reed's history and how we got to these charges today. She's also getting reaction from you. Laura continues our live team coverage in Harrisburg. Laura, you just spoke with Mayor Eric Papenfuss. What was his response to this?
Rob and Tanya, Mayor Papenfuss has been one of the key players in this investigation. He was one of the first people to raise concerns about former Mayor Reed, and so he's very pleased with the charges that came down today. He says that this proves that justice can be delayed, but it cannot be denied. And now he's also calling for the closure of the National Civil War Museum. Hundreds of counts of theft and bribery, alleged illegal use of public funds, and corruption. That's what former Mayor Steve Reed was charged with today, but that's not how he's necessarily remembered by city residents we spoke with.
Mr. Reed was an excellent mayor.
Reed was mayor from 1982 until 2010. He's generally commended for sprucing up City Island and parts of the city. But Paul Cochran, who lives in the city, says he took notice when things seemed to change.
It started with rumblings about the
incinerator, and this idea that he had sort of let the refinancing of it get out of control, and I sensed some corruption there.
That corruption is what Attorney General Kathleen Kane says has been going on for years. Luis Murado Lara of Harrisburg thinks Reed is innocent.
When there is an individual that stays in power for so long, things happen.
He believes those who worked under Reed were the bad eggs.
There is a tendency not to indict big fish, but he is not the main problem.
But Kathleen Kane says it's the other way around.
Reed was very gregarious, very charming. He had a very dynamic personality. And that's probably what started this out.
Current Mayor Eric Papenfuss says he's pleased to see that Reed was charged.
It is important for everybody to understand that when they put money in the meters or they pay the ridiculously high trash rates in Harrisburg, that is all the legacy, that is all essentially paying off the debt that was amassed by Mayor Stephen Reed.
Now Mayor Eric Papenfuss is asking that the National Civil War Museum voluntarily dissolve and hand over its keys and artifacts to the city. He says the complaint from the Attorney General's office makes it clear that the museum is a monument to Mayor Reed and the corruption that occurred under his administration. We're live tonight in Harrisburg. Lyra Greenberg, CBS 21 News.
All right, Lara, thanks. Coming up in sports, we're looking back at a failed project Reed is accused of pumping money into.
CBS 21 Sports Director Jason Bristol has this part of the story involving the National Sports Hall of Fame. That's coming up at 6:24. And you can always count on us to bring you updates here on the air, online, social media, and of course, check out our new revamped CBS 21 News app.